How you doing, Johan? Introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you're working on, how you're using AI, and how I can help you today.
Well, yeah, hi. Hello from Manila, Philippines. So I've been working a lot on data projects. My background is from a database administrator and architect, so back-end operations, and then start playing around with AI last year and doing some vibe coding and doing yeah, trying out many things. But right now I'm working on some POC projects for a potential a partner for the company I'm working for right now for their voice support agents.
Oh, okay.
That's the main two two companies that have needs for that. So
Okay.
I'm here mostly to listen for today. I don't have a specific
Okay.
question.
That's all good, Johan. That's all good. So currently, you said you're building something like voice agents, right? So what kind of software are you thinking about using? Have you been playing around with any? Are you testing any? Maybe we can just get started with that.
Yeah, I've used Ultravox and also Livekit for the very initial POC, just
Yeah.
the voice version of a chat agent, right? No tooling yet, no setting any appointment or anything.
Okay.
So the conversation was good, the turn taking was good, but yeah, I'm now I'm working on putting some tooling into that one so that it will actually check for the for example, the internet service company will want to check the account status of
Yeah.
a subscriber, right? So yeah, things like that.
I like it. I like it. Are you thinking about using it just via online calling, or is it going to have a physical phone affiliation as well?
Definitely, especially for the local ISP, they
Yeah.
will want to connect it to their PBX. So
Yeah.
it will be something local.
Okay. That's interesting. I look forward to hearing your progress further, Johan. It sounds like you have a good proof of concept. So keep working at it. And, if there's anything I can do, or maybe things come up as we chat here, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. As a last question, are you going to be using like some sort of a voice recording of a real person, or is it just going to be straight AI? And I do have a follow-up on that one.
Right now, I'm just working on what's already available, but we do have plans to do local recordings, especially
Okay.
for Filipino language, because yeah, there's really scarce available for that. And so my partner who has the funds is sourcing some H100 so that we can do our own training.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Just last question on that, because this is a hot topic that I've had with a couple of clients when we've done voice agents for them. We have done, I think, simpler versions where we would do like 11 Labs conversational agent, feed it with a bunch of like their voice transcripts, and then use something like Twilio to connect it to a phone. So a different kind of integration. But one of the things that we always advise clients is to always start a conversation by saying, for example, I am a virtual assistant, or I am, let's say, a voice agent. Just because we heard that there is some trouble if you don't introduce it, that it's specifically basically an AI. Have you seen anything like this, or any take on that?
Well, yeah, all the initial POCs, definitely I did have the agent introduce himself or herself, right? We still haven't discussed with my partners if they want to really pretend to be human, or really right up front, no, tell the
Yeah,
user that you're talking to an AI agent. I
yeah,
am leaning more towards that because
yeah.
I mean AI is the acceptance is very high right now, and
I agree.
I think it's better to just be upfront about it.
I agree, especially if it's a call agent, no harm, no foul, right? And you're gonna trust it to take as much accurate information and data as possible, versus, for example, what a human can do. Okay, thank you so much, Johan. Very nice meeting you. Really look forward to your contributions and some of your ideas and how everything gets along. So keep me posted. All right, no worries, buddy. Next up, I have JR question mark. So JR, if you're shy, that's all good. But can you help me? How can I call you? Is JR good? Do you want me to use a
JR is
different?
good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay, JR, welcome. First time here, I think, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're working on. What are you using AI or automation for? And is there any way that I can help you today?
Not necessarily today. I figured I'd jump in and kind of see what's going on in here. I'll give you a quick background of what I'm doing. So I work for a really small lobbying firm for veterans. I'm a disabled veteran myself, and I've been using AI as a research assistant essentially for the better part of a year, and we don't have a dedicated IT person, and I've been running into issues trying to incorporate AI into my workflow with Microsoft Work account and Access. So I've taken on the challenge, I guess, of trying to become an IT person for our firm with no technical background. I was working in construction before I got into this job, and writing documents and PDFs is about my extent of knowledge with computers before getting into this job in 2017, and then playing with AI for about a year with research stuff. In the last 6 months or so, I've been playing with Claude, and I built a web app with Replit. I'm trying to solve some pain points in the lobbying world that we see with veterans. And so I've been working on some stuff, and I'll probably need help and be able to ask questions later. But that's overall what I'm trying to do is incorporate it into our business. I'm going to be building a website in the next couple months.
Nice.
In our state, we just have a small window between right now and January before everything kicks off again. And I have a lot on my plate. So it's not something I'm going to be able to do full time. I have this really small window to try to cram as much stuff in as possible. I'm trying to build I'm sorry to take up time.
No, please don't apologize.
I'll explain it as quickly as possible. But
You're doing
basically, I'd like to develop rapid response teams from veteran organizations within my state. So I want to have a state map, and then I'm trying to get a hold of all the post locations throughout my state from the 5 organizations that I represent. One of those that I represent involves 22 other veteran organizations. So in total, there's roughly 27 veteran organizations that could have posts or don't have posts. But anyways, I want to overlay the post locations on a map, separate that map into districts by representative so that we can target members that are not wanting to support legislation or concerned or have concerns, and be able to tailor our approach to reach out to those members to address specific issues that they might have if they're expressing them on social media, be able to find that information and really tailor our arguments to them to try to garner their support.
Awesome. Look, JR, I think so from initially hearing that, I think that's a very noble cause and idea that you're kind of building upon. I really like the fact that you're investing into something that maybe not many people are going to, investing your time or your knowledge base or whatever it may be. So that's awesome. I kind of got like 2 use cases or 2 kind of ideas that you're working on, right? One is the research agent and the other one is the rapid response agent, right? For the research agent, you mentioned Claude, and can you, if it's okay with you, what is the idea of this research agent? Like, is it researching certain legislation or laws that you need to know, or what is it achieving?
Okay, so I'm not necessarily building a research agent. I've been using Claude to build code, and I've been using Perplexity to do my research over the past year. I've used Replit to try to build a web app. There's a tool called Voter Voice, and typically it won't allow, if you don't live within a committee member's district, you can't vote to support a piece of legislation. And I think that pushes a lot of people away. At least in the veteran community, I hear back a lot, well, I can't vote on the bill because I'm not in so-and-so's district, so I can't put my input in on this bill until it gets to the Senate or the Assembly floor. So I built a web app that would allow us to send a letter of support to the committee instead of to the members of the committee consultant. That way the committee consultant can tell the committee, hey, we've got 1,000 or 10,000 supporters on this piece of legislation. And so I've developed a way to kind of go around that in a web app. It's fully built. It looks pretty good. I haven't deployed it because I'm pretty sure I need to do testing and things like that, which I think I'm probably stuck there. I need to do more research into that. But I have to report to all my clients over the next 3 weeks. And so I'm writing a lot of reports. The governor will be signing bills here shortly, and there's a deadline coming up. So I have a lot going on until about October 15th.
I hear you. Look, I think you got it nailed. The only thing I could say to you is, because you also mentioned that you're trying to build a website. If all of this needs to come together in a sort of an MVP, there are things that I have done in one of the lessons where I kind of show you how you can group a couple of things or ideas if you're looking for, I don't know specifically how this sector works. So I do apologize for my, let's say, lack of knowledge. But if there is a need for you to create something like an MVP that you would be later pitching to the group, the founders, or anyone within the organization that matters, definitely I would recommend you can use something like GenSpark to just deploy this MVP, right? So that you can showcase what is your idea behind what you're trying to achieve here. So I'm just giving you some ideas of how you can put all of this together in a very nice demo visual sense. But yeah, I look forward to chatting further with you, JR, once you develop a little bit more of the things you're doing, or you run into some problems or questions. I know Replit can be a headache. Been there. I've had many headaches with Lovable or Bolt.new as well. So I know some of the things you're going to encounter.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure, JR, and thank you so much for sharing all of that. Before I go to our next new member that I see on the call, I really quickly wanted to cover the 2 questions that were asked in the chat. So Manny said, is there any classroom video with Airtable and N8N workflows to educate oneself? We do have an N8N workflow with Airtable that combines Airtable that I can even show you what it looks like, but we don't necessarily have a lesson on it. Can you give me a little bit more insight into what you would be after, Manny? What would be helpful for you?
Hi, afternoon. Yeah, so basically, after last week's call, I've kind of like set up with Claude using that as a basis, and obviously with the recommendations, I'm trying to kind of test a workflow for, let's say, in the plumbing industry, where one uses like rings up through Telegram, and then basically can book a job, or if you're an existing customer or like a new customer, with booking a job, it then allocates it to an Airtable, and then kind of creates a job, and then obviously allocates it to the plumber who would do the work itself, and then replies back. So I'm struggling with that, and I'm trying to understand more on Airtable with that kind of strategy.
Yeah, so the thing with the Airtable is so I think you're talking exactly about the flow that I showed last week, right? Where we had basically a person that owns a lot of property and they have tenants. The tenant reports a problem, everything goes through our Airtable, right? The problem with that specific instance was that it was a very bespoke build. So what we did for the client there was we went into their Airtable. First, we looked at how they were adding data, let's say, because Airtable is pretty much like a place where you can consolidate a lot of data information, similar to Sheets or whatever you may be using right now. We went in there when we tried to understand, okay, what are the fields they have? What kind of information are they gathering? Where are they storing it? What's it looking like? And from there, we just created a bunch of specific, let's say, data hubs that we needed for this automation. So I can do a lesson on Airtable, Manny. I don't have a problem with that. I just think it might be a little bit too vague or generic. Again, that might be good still, but for that specific use case that you see, or that I shared with you last week as well, it is a very bespoke one. So it's a very niche use case, right? I mean, you can develop from it, you can build something of your own, but it's more understanding the logic of the nodes rather than that specific Airtable integration, if that makes sense.
Okay, I mean, what I'll do is I'll try sharing with you what I've kind of created already.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Take it from there, because it is more bespoke rather than a generic kind of thing. But it would help even if there is something generic I could look at as well, just to kind of polish up on my end.
That actually sounds really good. Like, feel free to send it my way. And what I'm gonna do for you is I'm just adding now a classroom. So basically what I do in instances like this is I just add a little instance in my VIX learning corner. And once I get to creating more videos, I'll just already have like next idea for a video that is going to help you guys, right? So I already have stuff like, for example, N8N, Facebook Node, Google Drive Node, GenSpark lessons, and now I'll also add Airtable, how to use Airtable.
Fine. Thank you for that.
My pleasure, Manny. Just added it there so that I can work on that for you. The other question came from Ed. Hey Vic, any update on recommended products, vibe coding, and thoughts on Sonnet 4.5? So Ed, I'm gonna need you to dissect that a little bit. So I'm gonna start with this. When it comes to Sonnet 4.5, we tested it a little. We think it's really, really good at reasoning, math, coding, long tasks. It's one of the first kind of instances where I see a straight out LLM performing good with long tasks compared to before. From what I heard, it can run up to 30 hours. Haven't really done that myself, but that's some of the things that I know. I think that the consensus is that it's better than, for example, Opus and even GPT-5 right now. So that's the consensus in the community. When it comes to vibe coding or recommended products, can you give me a little bit more information on what you want to hear? Ed, hopefully you're still there.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been using GenSpark quite a lot. As you say, it takes a while to get through your credits.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pushing to get through them. What I found with things like doing PowerPoints and putting stuff in is it's very good in kind of delivering product, but the product it delivers needs a lot of finessing. I must have done 12, 20 versions of the same thing, and it doesn't kind of stabilize the initial presentation. It then overwrites it or it starts again, and it doesn't seem to learn from itself. Just wondered, are there better products? Do we hang on and carry on with that one? Because it is a good product, but it just has limitations.
So this is what I do. I know exactly what you're facing because I faced the same problem when I try to create presentations and build from one presentation into, let's say, presentation like for the next lesson or for the next course, right? That's kind of what you're encountering.
Yeah. And similar with data problems and things like that. It kind of goes off and does something, and it does often something quite complex, but it doesn't necessarily kind of stabilize what it's doing.
Yeah. So for the presentation, there are two ways that you can handle that. One of them is you can actually save the presentation as a template, and you can use that in every other instance that you're creating presentations, because that'll be the template. Or the second version is you can always have the same chat alive, and you can choose what to export, because one of the good things that it does is it always creates the newest presentation on top. So for example, let's imagine that the previous presentation is 32 slides, right? The new one is 18. When you go to export, it's going to be 50 total, but you can choose the range. So that's one way that you can also tackle it. I know it's not ideal, but
it does have a version. If you go to the top, it does keep versions as well.
Yes.
There is the facility to manually adjust what its output, but when it's overwriting and making things worse, it does get a bit laborious, and you think, I might have been easier doing this. ChatGPT, I've fed it into there as well, and that tends to produce a lot more basic presentation, even though it starts with something more complex. I guess it's just waiting for the right product to come along, really, to make life easy.
Yes, I think all of them are going to be building towards the same goal, but right now I think you're spot on. From what I've seen, when it comes to presentations, I'm really happy with GenSpark, but it does have its own flaws, right? And so in terms of product, have been switched. I think I've told you guys many times, but basically I was a very big user of custom GPTs, GenSpark as the two main tools that I've been using for almost any use case, and then I would go to other stuff depending on what I needed, like HeyGen, or I basically would never use Perplexity. I would never use Claude for many months now, even though I always thought Claude wrote better. However, ever since ChatGPT 5, I've been continuously getting upset with ChatGPT and my custom GPTs. So although I still use two of them, I had 7 before. Now I've started creating projects in Claude. So that's just what I'm leaning more towards right now. So that's just a heads up on how I'm dealing with some of the recent changes and updates.
The other thing I would say for the group is I've been using 4.5, the Sonnet, quite a lot over the last couple of days. And it does seem to give quite some biased feedback, say, compared to Perplexity, which is kind of more objective and more thorough in its research. So the secret, I think, is to cross-match and cross-check some of the output against other models.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If you are able to spread yourself across multiple models, having that cross-checked and always asking for references is a very good one as well, especially when you're asking for numbers, data, information. Just ask it for references and you can quickly scan through them as well.
Yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome, Matt. You're welcome. And then for vibe coding, anything you wanted to add? Like, I don't know if you had a specific idea or question there.
It was good for the Gen Spark for doing strategy work. It gives you a very good start. Like everything else, it needs nuancing, and like a lot of AI products, you know, people often put stuff out there that's been automated and very crude. You've got to still put the time in with the models we currently have, you know, even with tightly specifying things. That's what I'm finding. Yeah,
I agree.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the question and the input there. All right, let's go to who do we have here that's new? We have Omar. Welcome, Omar. I think this is the first time you're here. Usually what I do is I ask for people to introduce themselves and tell me a little bit about what they're working on. If you're shy or if you don't want to talk right now, if you're in a busy environment, that's all good as well. I'll just carry on with someone else. All right. Before I go to Ian, I'm just quickly going to answer Arnett. Not to be pushy, but are you and Julian working on generative engine optimization classes? Is it more for SEO Elite Circle members? I appreciate that it's fairly early days in GEO. I appreciate the fact that you and Julian have a very busy schedule. However, would be great and useful video demos rather than cherry picking articles from Google SERPs or AI chatbots, let alone Reddit. All right, I'm going to drop all the knowledge I have and all the testing we've done so far on GEO. This is a very specific topic and it's a lot more SEO related, but very happy to share this with you, team. So we have been doing, and we have done a lot of testing. It really depends how you want to call it. It's mainly around ranking in LLMs and ranking in the AI overview on Google, right? This is what generative engine optimization basically is. We have done a lot of testing, like I said, and there is a very big consensus in the community that people are now selling, let's call it hot water or BS, whatever you want to call it, okay? So GEO is too early for people to say they have it cracked. There are things that definitely help, and I'll explain them now. So the three main pillars of SEO are still super important. The three main pillars are backlinks, content, keywords. Okay, those are still very important. Why are they important? Because that is the only way that you're going to be seen on Google. When Google sees you, that is when LLMs can see you as well. So that's number one. Number two, there are ways that you can manipulate or help yourself rank on GEO. One of the ways is a little bit unethical, but I'll explain it for you guys just because I'm always transparent. And the other one is very proven and currently, I think, even quoted by Google on ways that you can rank, right? So the first one is Reddit, Quora, and similar type forums. You can include stuff here like Medium. You can include stuff here like, I forgot the name, one more, like one of those blog sites. Basically, the idea is if you have your own community on Reddit and you post, but it's an active community, you will definitely begin growing. So this is definitely one of the things that you're going to get noticed on. I'm sure that every single one of you, if you have a LinkedIn right now and you Google your name, you're going to see that LinkedIn, for example, is one of the top 3 searches. What this means is a lot of these places like Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, Medium, etc., they're getting quoted a lot in LLMs and in the AI overview. So if you want one of the ways to rank in GEO, what you need to do is create that community or figure out a community where you can be talking about the advantages of your service and or product without advertising. Understand that the backlash that can happen on Reddit is 10 times worse than anything positive that can come. So that is a little bit of the, let's say, unethical way. But the ethical way that you can grow, specifically for GEO or whatever you want to call it, is through digital PR. Now, if you don't know what digital PR is or the concept of digital PR, it's basically publications on news outlets, news-related media kind of pages, such as Guardian, such as New York Times, such as MSN, et cetera, et cetera. What does this mean, digital PR? It means basically having a journalist write a piece, not specifically about you, but mention you and or your business / your website. I mean, it's very important that it's a website, right? So this is the GEO part of it. And GEO really trusts high authority websites or because we use Ahrefs, we call them high domain websites. It really, domain rating websites. It really trusts high DR websites. All of these have usually DR above 80, okay? So Arnett, I don't know if this answers your question directly. Very happy to do like a whole lesson on GEO specifically, but to summarize, the most important foundations of SEO still apply to GEO, which are backlinks, keywords, and content. If you want to specifically attack GEO, the best two ways that you can do outside of these three are either through a little bit of an unethical approach through Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, etc., or the more ethical one would be digital PR links. So this is the best I can give you right now on Geo, Arnett. Like you said, it is early. This is the knowledge we have. This is what we're working on, and hope that was helpful to you. Victor said, are Claude projects similar to custom GPTs? Yes and no. In a way they are, because it can behave like a custom GPT. Basically, you could have a project on a topic that you kind of give it instructions on what you want to happen, and you can kind of curate the conversation. But the good thing about custom GPTs is how easily they're shared and how easily you can even monetize them and stuff like this, right? So that's kind of the difference.
Is it a hack sort of to give Claude some memory of your history?
It is not a hack, but this is where ChatGPT does a little bit better because the memory on ChatGPT is vastly superior, right? So with a project, you're gonna have to give it information and context almost every time at the beginning of the project.
Exactly.
It kind of defeats the purpose, but it's been giving me better output. Right now, I'm so upset with some of the output from ChatGPT that I am in desperate need of testing other stuff. I've even submitted a ticket saying that it hallucinates a lot more often now in my custom GPTs compared to ever before, right? So I've hopefully that gets changed. So we'll see.
I'm doing my first 4.5
nice
chat session right now, and it's very long prompt, and it's really just business strategy stuff, and it's been cranking ever since this session started.
Nice.
So it's been like 35 minutes where it's speaking and doing. So I'm very curious to see what the output is going to be.
Honestly, I'm curious as well, Victor. Drop us a note at the end of this call what it was.
Right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that question, Arnett. Like I said, this is a very early days topic. Hope I gave you a little bit of understanding and knowledge, and hopefully that was useful. Let's now go to Ian B. Horner. Ian, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you're on my call. I have seen you in the community. I've even seen you, if I'm not mistaken, even on LinkedIn, but it's very nice to meet you. Give us a little bit of an intro. Tell us what you're working on, and how can I help today?
Right. Hi, everybody. My name's Ian Horner. I've got the B in it only because it's like there's a few Ian Horners out there, so I've added the B in. So hopefully when people are doing searches, they find it because the middle name's for Bruce. How can I say? I used to work in a day job, so JOB, adjustable broke as they call it. Then I've done a lot of online marketing for a while, and then I did SEO a while back with like Greg Morrison and a few of the other guys, the big G's in the business to do SEO. Then I thought, well, hang on a minute, what's happening? It's AI. So I thought, okay, then what the next step is AI and automation. So that's where I jumped in here. And the business that I'm running pure is AI automation. So that's what I'm looking at, growing within the group, looking at things. We all struggle, we all have different issues and stuff, and there's a lot of connection issues I have where how does that connect to this, how does that do this? That's the main thing. So it's really pure AI automation. What I'm working on at the minute is I've got a lady who's quite well up with a lot of the influencers and stuff, so I'm looking at doing some automations for that side. So that's one thing, but now she's flipped it and she's gone totally other angle, because she came out the influence. I'm talking about the OF adult industry. I didn't really want to get too involved with that, but then she's in that, but she's doing more into this. She's a Reiki master, she's an NLP master, and she wants to help people get out the overwhelm or the stress, because at the minute with AI is actually making it worse for people, because people are so stressed with all this thing and trying to catch up. So then I wanted to work in with her with that to do some automations and things, but the main thing at the minute she wants to do like a coaching, a wellness help thing to help people getting overwhelmed. I'm trying to push back in a few areas to say, look, let's me do a bit of the automation side, because that will help people with overwhelm. She's one of these people years ago, she thought of ideas. She worked for Sky, she worked for Playboy, she worked for a lot of the big people. So she got all the ideas, but she's all on old school methods. Rather than me trying to teach her to look at GPT, she called it GP, look at all them to make sure we can master them, so they will become her thought partners. And that's what I'm building, a lot of thought partners, so that can take a lot of stress off. But the main thing is why I'm here is to network with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Share best practices. I'm quite a bit of an ideas guy. Hopefully I'm not taking too much of the call.
No, please.
A bit of the ideas guy where I can see things like that thing where they're using like Superbase, Airtables, all that. I'm also in with Andrew Tate's stuff and the real world, because there's a lot of guys in there called Poe, Cam and that, and they're quite cutting edge with how they're doing a lot of their stuff. So it's quite interesting. But there's that many people. But I do like, I'm not knocking you, Vic, because I haven't really spoke to you a lot, but you've given me some help. But obviously Julian out there. I mean, I'm watching his live at the minute as well on the other phone. So he's the one that's the front of the thing. But I do like what he keeps bringing out, and at least he shows and he talks to people a lot. And I like you're the cog, you're the ones behind the scenes. But with that other guy's thing, could you not? I built a app in MindPal, and I built it so it talked to Google Sheets, and then Google Sheets then talk to Gmail, and it then would answer the call, talk to the customer, book this guy's routes in through his he's got a window cleaning, sorry, he's got a carpet cleaning company. He books a call, schedules them, checks on Google Maps where the nearest person is for the call, for the job, sorts it all out, does it all, but it all does it through Google Sheets, and he'd got it working that way on. The only thing he was pedantic about, it kept dropping it in the wrong place within the Google Sheets. All the rest worked, the quoting, the thing, the talking about the email, but because it was on the wrong. I said, yes, but all you can do at night, just come and move it around. What's the problem? so that's the sort of, that's where people are. But there's, look, I'm going to jump into Jen's spot, but I'll leave with this thought, and then you can ask me things. There's a guy shared last night. It's owned by Disney. I'll have to find the name out. Is that Abacus or Ambicus or something? Do you know of it?
Yes.
Okay, so that one, he was saying that when you go in there, you talk into it, and then it decides which of the large language models you use. Yeah. And then the other thing I like was, because I want to get quite into governance, because that's where Replica got fined in Italy, 4.5 million. But then there's the LLM that came out from Switzerland, and that's the governance LLM. Yeah. And then a guy I know in the States, he's running a company called 2Trust AI with governance. And I think all of us, or Julian and yourself, I would love to have a little bit on governance side. What's gonna happen is down the road, because there used to be financial services, it's gonna hit where people are going to start getting fined. That 1.4 million fine in Italy for Replica, what happened? It's the states, what is it, Texas now has just changed something in one of the states. In the US, every single state's different. GDPR came in, ISO came in, AI Act of 2024 came in. But I'm thinking if we can all, or have some as a collective within the organisation, within the group, and push something so we can be on the forefront of protection for in between, like a gate guard, like a not a gate guard, what do you call it? In between the AI and the customer, a rail guard and stuff. Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing where it would be good. A little talk each week on that from Julian. Or you, so everybody can put something in place, so then they don't get sued down the road, because it's going to happen. All right. Sorry.
That's all good, Ian. Ian, you kind of gave me three things to talk about. The first one was that's all good. The first one was regarding, the person you're working with OF, etc. So I think that one of the things that Barry said, I really leaned into, like if they're trying to start a community or they're trying to build out something that is for helping or educational purposes, whatever, right? There are three main avenues that I would look at. YouTube, social media, and starting a community similar to this one. So whether it's on school, on WAP, on Discord, wherever it is, it truly doesn't matter. You just need to figure out how you're going to monetize that in the sense that it makes sense for the monetization, right? It's not just for the sake of, hey, I'm going to create this free group and then I'm going to ask people to donate. You can go down that route, but you also need to understand sometimes you're going to encounter a lot of people that are going to be ungrateful, right? They're going to come, steal content, steal ideas, try to, like you said, build other stuff off of it. So I would go that route. Start with YouTube, social media. So I'm stuff like X, very, very potent, right? TikTok. And basically, if she's helping people, just have this educational content live somewhere and then create a mastermind of a sort. Again, it doesn't matter whether it's school, WAP, etc. This is where I would concentrate her efforts. How you would use AI, you would basically come up with the ideas, the scripts, the text, and down the line, even the videos themselves, right? You can really create sort of like this easy workflow for them to use AI in this sense. Now, I also agree with what Code Zero said. The lowest barrier to entry is the most common known AI, right? So if you want them to adopt more and more different LLMs or whatever it may be, I would shove ChatGPT down their throat in the sense of, I would say, this is really going to help you. Let me just show you 3 times. If it doesn't help you, that's all good. So that's how I would kind of approach it with that person. I saw you unmuted, so I'm going to give you a sec. You did unmute. It's all good.
So it's just because this, at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to send you a screenshot. It's got all weird characters and stuff and everything. And it's weird because it's overlapped on the top of it, the meat, which is queer. So I told all this, I want to do all this for her, but she's one of these, oh, I want to work, let her do, but I want to run that as a side hustle for myself, in the sense doing it and then prove to her that it needs, I know, for the girls and things, there's a lot of agencies are helping them and doing their socials and doing that. If they can drop in with the overwhelm and show them how it works, I totally agree with you. I want to do it this way, and hopefully I'll get a Fathom, your Fathom, or your note.
Oh yeah, this is always uploaded. Don't worry, community.
And tell her, listen to this guy because he knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
I like that. In terms of everything else you said, like I think there is nobody out there that can give you enough knowledge whether things will change in the AI world and how different countries are going to adopt it, because there's no way for anyone to know, right? You were mentioning like governments and I don't want to get sued and stuff like this. There is one core principle that I recently heard in, I think it was a podcast, but I'm just going to quote it here freely. Basically, it spoke about all the greatest ideas that have ever come about, all the greatest businesses. They've always been copies of stuff that existed already. Right? Almost nothing has been brought up from the ground and is to today the most successful thing. So any business you can think of, whether it's Amazon, whether it's eBay, whether it's Microsoft, everything started by using an idea of something that existed, right? So in that sense, I would always be free and safe to say, hey, I created this business with my business idea, and I'm not afraid of, I mean, they can sue you if you're using their logo, right? Their catchphrase, they can sue you for stuff like this, but they're not going to sue you for starting a business or starting something that is your own, right, Ian? So no one out there alive can promise you what's going to happen in 2026 or what's going to happen with the acts and the laws and the legislations. One of the things that I do think is going to happen is probably we're going to get some sort of strict regulations, especially in Europe. I don't know about US and the rest of the world, but I think there's going to be a regulation about how many workforce you're going to need to have versus AIs, right? So you're not going to be able to have a whole department just AI. I think that is something that is going to be incorporated, but I also think people are going to abuse it. So, those are just my 2 cents on that topic.
Can I give you a bit on that? I did 25 years financial services, so I see how it works. Key performance documents, and then saying we're offering you this, but then you need to check this out. A bit like covering your arses, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. And I wanted to use that. Use the guy with the 2 Trust AI, because he's a like assistant type based guy, and he's gone out there and put some gate. He can scrape now ChatGPT. For anyone that spoke to ChatGPT, you can scrape it and find what they spoke about, which is quite interesting. So he created this tool that will go in and in between, use that. It scrapes all the things that's changing daily or weekly or however long in each state in the US, and also Europe as well, and he's using that as like the gate guard. It keeps dropping it in. So that's what I want to come in and start saying to people. You need to start putting this is a AI clone, or you need to start putting this is this. You need to start putting it like the deep fake stuff. You've got to stop, because at least I say to people, cover your arse before the legislation comes. At least you've tried to do something.
Last note there, Ian. Nobody knows what the future holds, but it's on us to learn about it, get prepared, educate ourselves, and do what we can. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. I really appreciate it. Look forward to having you on these calls. Very interesting topics indeed. And if your buddy developed something that scrapes all of ChatGPT, I would love to talk to them as well, because I'm very curious.
I'll get you the guy's name. It's the guy at 2 Trust AI. So have a look at 2 Trust AI. But I'll get you onto the owner.
Yeah, let's go. I'm really down to talk about that. One sec, before I go to Barry, Matt, and Christopher, I just want to see. So Omar dropped a question in chat and left, but I really quickly wanted to answer it because I'm guessing he's going to watch this recording back. He said, I have a question for you. Could you let us know the mistakes you've made or others have made with everything or anything related with AI tools and or AI agents so that we can learn and avoid these mistakes? This alone might take me more than 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to do a TLDR. One of the major mistakes I see people doing is they're too stuck or too in their comfort zone with a certain AI, and they're really not willing to experiment with different ones. Don't get stuck on just one LLM. Go out there and experiment. A lot of them even offer free ways to test it. right? If you don't know what to do, you're just going to go to Open Router and figure out how you can test a certain model by asking a question. Okay, that is number one. Number two is don't go too big into automation and think you can automate 100% all at once. Start with small chunks. Automate, for example, if you want to automate your whole email business, start with, let's say, the incoming emails, labeling them, okay? Start with labeling. The next step, start with creating drafts. The next step, start with inputting information or feeding certain stuff. Never go everything at once because you're always going to screw up. And third is, honestly, people change their minds way too often and or don't know what they want. So you need to have a clear vision of what you want to create, what the end goal is. Why are you doing this? And this is applicable for any business, any work, anything in the world. But yeah, hopefully Omar sees that. And if there's anything else, I would love to give more information. But Barry, you raise your hand. I would love to go to you. Let's go, sir.
Okay. Hi. I'm sorry I was late today.
It's all
yeah. I do deliveries for those that don't know. And today it's the night before Yom Kippur, and so we had a lot of work. But anyway, I wanted to talk about Ian. That he talk about the legislation and what's going to be going on with Brussels. What's going on right now is that there's a shift within AI and tech regarding what's going on in Europe and what's going on in West Asia. And what's going on in West Asia is being decided right now in Dubai, Tel Aviv, and in Riyadh. And what's happening with that is a lot of companies are leaving Europe because of Brussels, and they're moving to Dubai. And if you want proof of that, look at how many people have left the UK. And also, you can walk around Cyprus, you'll hear a lot of English. Yeah. But most people are not going around Cyprus. They're going directly to Riyadh and to Dubai. And so that's the answer to you. Europe is going to make the regulations stronger next year, but with the money that Trump cut with UAE and with Abu Dhabi, and also with what's going on with Israel right now, most of the tech is going to go towards the Middle East and West Asia, and they're going to try to escape the regulations.
Yeah, I think Barry, you're spot on. I think that a lot of the things that are going to happen in the future are going to be about people circumventing, abusing. I mean, it's always been like that, right? A lot of people start businesses in different countries for years and years now, right? Simply to avoid, whether it's a tax or whether to avoid the legislations. It is something that's been always happening. It's not something, but I think now it's going to be even more emphasized. So 100% agree with you there, Barry.
We're going to discuss it in GITEX in 2 weeks.
Looking forward to it. Is it going to be also virtual or is it just in person?
Part of it is virtual and part of it will have feeds that you can follow. Because they have a feed on LinkedIn, and then there's individual companies that you can research, and you will see that they were in GITEX, for example, Elm, which is a technology company out of Riyadh, or Fiverr, which I don't know if Fiverr will be there this year, but Fiverr is in Tel Aviv.
If it's okay with you, Barry, drop me the link to that and I'll share it in my update post. Thank you so much, Barry. Awesome. Matt, you also raised your hand. We have about 8 minutes left, so let's go quickly, sir. What's up? How can I help? You are muted, Matt. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Oh, and he's gone. All right, Christopher, let's go to you.
Yeah, I'll make this super quick. First of all, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. I know you've been under the weather. Chris. Just simply, I posted you after our last call last week. So when you get a free moment, you just respond to that. That's all I need. Thanks.
Christopher, I'll do that 100% for you. I do apologize. Like I said, honestly, I hate it when I get sick because it kills my energy so hard.
I always say there's 3 things that happen. You never come at a good time. Number 1, sickness. Number 2, vacation. Number 3, jury duty. So those are 3 things that never happen at a good time. Glad to see you're feeling better.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. All right, Matt is back. Go for it, Matt. Hopefully this time. There we go. I can't hear you though. Matt, if you want, you can drop your question in chat. I do apologize, but I can't seem to hear you. I'm just gonna quickly jump to Code Zero because we only have a few minutes left. Code Zero, I've seen your drop knowledge bombs both in the community and now in chat. It's okay if you don't want to unmute, but if you do, I would love to get to know you. Welcome to my Q&A. I think this is the first time I've ever seen you here. So how you doing? We got a couple of shy people today. That's all good. That's all good. I understand a lot. Oh, there we go. How you doing, Code?
Hello. Yeah, I just joined yesterday. I'm from Morocco.
I love that. I love that. You seem very knowledgeable about different things. Are you already working with a lot of AI, automation?
I was hustling since October. I joined some free communities about SEO. I wanted to start blogging. Then, since October, Google been going crazy.
Yeah.
Then I met Julian, free content. I met many SEOs. Then I was fascinated by AI, so I decided to stick to one AI, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I learn it. I learn it every day, using it every day.
Nice.
Other AIs, etc. Then I was excited about copywriting, marketing, sales, funnels. I read books. I try to apply them in take the concept and apply it in AI. That's when I understood the power of AI. I saw N8N at the beginning, but I thought that if I jump that wagon, I will not really understand the concepts of business, then apply it to AI.
Yeah.
So now I decided that it's time to understand how automation works and apply the knowledge I want.
I love that. I love that, buddy. That's awesome that you mentioned it. And you're so spot on with saying Google absolutely went crazy. We've had a lot of conversations recently with clients. I would say about like 30% of the client base has been very vocal about this. And I'll just quickly share this. I know this is SEO related, but I think still it's a good knowledge point for everyone here. We recently created like a presentation to explain what happened in the latest Google spam update. And a lot of people are like, holy smokes, I've lost like hundreds of keywords, right? We always try to calm them down by telling them what has happened with the biggest players in the world. For example, you have Reddit, which is Google's love child. They lost 40 million keywords. That is literally 1/4 of their keywords within a month, right? You also have eBay. They lost nearly 10 million, which is half of what they had. Okay, so I'm fully with you, Code Zero. We also have like Amazon and Wikipedia, and there isn't a single page right now that went, I mean, since this core update happened, that didn't lose an insane amount of keywords. So if you're out there trying to do anything with SEO or content and you have your clients pissed at you, please show them examples of even the biggest players in the world, okay? Everyone is suffering right now. It's that time of the year. It's all about bouncing back, but we're going to be back stronger than ever. Considering Black Friday is coming, a lot of people are going to be Googling, right? A lot of stuff is going to be happening online.
The problem I realized in SEO, that it's us who did that to us. We did that to us. We start hyping AI. People think that they will push 2 buttons and get money. People think just about money. They think that there is just us and the algorithms. There is no client between us. It's like the client is not the one that's gonna pay us. We don't understand that we need to think like the platform think. If we have the same perspective, automatically we will gain the money. The money is just a setup to your work.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you so much for that, Code. Really quickly, I saw Victor said Claude 4.5 is still cranking on my very long business strategy prompt. It found 45 sources, 50 minutes so far. Output better be worth the wait. Honestly, Victor, I would love if you drop me a message once it's done, because I want to know whether it was worth it or not, but that's a very long one for sure. I will share the presentation, Arnett and Ian. Don't worry, guys. I'll drop it in. So basically, these lessons go into the Wednesday folder. When you open up the classroom, you're going to see Wednesday Q&A. I'm going to drop it in there alongside with the summary. I'll also drop the whole chat conversation we had, because there are a couple of links that have been shared. And I'll share the presentation as well that is given to all of you. I'll see you on the posts and talk to you guys as early as tomorrow, otherwise next Wednesday. Thank you for being here and all the best. Bye-bye, guys.